Hello, I came to PissedConsumer to help them or help me solve a problem because of Microtel of Independence, Kansas took advantage of a situation and overcharged me by excess of about 500 bucks. So I come to PissedConsumer looking for help and I want to make this public because hopefully I don't want this to happen to another family or anybody else. So thank you for listening and hopefully I can get some help. Well, what led us there, like we weren't there on vacation or anything like that. It was me, my mom, and dad, and we had went there because they're victim of deed fraud from their home and are wrongfully evicted from their home. So we had no other place to go. So we ended up, going there at the beginning of March 1st. And when we were there, we were doing it 2 nights at a time, which we were paying for off of our debit cards. And the owners of the motel knew about our situation, what we were going through. So we really, in this situation, we had to account for every penny and dime spent. We couldn't afford to be going through what we're going through at the time. And so everything's going fine. And probably about maybe 2 weeks into staying there, I was started looking at my credit card statement and I started seeing something really funny that really stuck out at me. And it was with the charges that they were doing. So, I brought it up and then I told my father about it and my mom. I had them look over it and I said, just check this over for me one time to see, if you see what I'm seeing on my statement. So they went ahead and did that. And so I took it up to the front counter and kind of explained, what was going on, that the process that I'd seen, what they were doing. And what they were doing was charging us, instead of charging 2 days at a time, they were charging 4 days at a time. And they weren't paying as you go, put it that way. If that makes any sense, pay as you go. They weren't doing it as they were telling us. And so I brought it up to their attention, and pretty much you could tell they have done this for quite some time because it was a lie that was so believable. Even I kind of started believing it, in a way. And, so I told my father, to go down there and see if he could talk to them and see if they tell him the same thing. Well, apparently they did. And so they told us there and then everything was fine, that it was predominantly my credit card that was the one in question. So I just let it be, thinking to myself that, now that I've said something about it, maybe they'll stop, with doing what they were doing. So time goes on and it finally led up to that point to where, I went and paid that Sunday following us getting kicked out. I paid that Sunday morning and I seen my debit card was charged right there and then for it. It wasn't stuck on processing or anything. It was actually charged. And so we took my card up there. My dad did, took my card up there and, told him, let's go ahead and do another 2 more days. This is my son's card. So they already knew the whole ordeal. So with that being said, my card was charged that Sunday night and I think it was probably Monday morning. I'd want to say maybe at about 3 in the morning, my phone goes off and tells me my card was just swiped. So I look at it and it said Microtel of Independence. So it was two charges for $60.47. And so I hopped up out of bed and I went to the front counter and there was a lady at the front counter. And then I asked her, why did you just charge me for 2 days when I just paid last night, which was Sunday? I paid for 2 days. So we're good till Tuesday. Well, she told me right there and then that she didn't charge my card. So I showed her my phone and told her, yes, you did. You charged my card without my prior approval, anything. You just took it upon yourself to charge my card without my say so. No, I didn't. So I showed her my phone once again, and I said, yes, you did. And I was like, my card is set up that every time it is swiped, I get notified every single time. And this is why I woke up out of bed, because you just swiped my card. And so I want my money back, please, because we haven't even came to an agreement with my parents if we're going to stay another 2 more days or not. So she refused to give me any refund and said I'll have to take it up with the owners of the motel. So, I got kind of frustrated. I didn't say nothing to her at the time. I got kind of frustrated because, they were so quick to take money out of my account. But when it came time to refund anything back, they didn't want to give it to me. So the next morning came and the next morning I had gotten all my ducks in a row and I printed out and I looked at my statement off my card and my sister looked at her statement and my mom looked at her statement. And we went through everything on all three of the statements, and then it just said it all right there and then. Hey, open that window. I need more light, please. And we went through all the statements, and it said it all right there in the charges, because on my half, they ended up charging about 400, almost close to $500 in overcharges on my card, because what they were doing was, instead of doing 2 days at a time, they were like blatantly lying to my face and telling me that my card was processed, and they were charging me for 4 days instead of 2 days. So pretty much it was just like, you let me get 2 days for free, and then when I come to pay for 2 days, you guys charge me automatically $242 instead of just making me pay what I want for the services. And I brought it up to them that morning after everything was said and done, and I brought it up to the both of them, because it was the owner, which is the father, and then his son, I think, oversees it, and then his wife. Well, I requested to talk to the owner, which was the father. He disappeared. As soon as possible, as soon as I brought him up, he vanished off into the darkness, and he was nowhere to be found. So it was left between his son and his wife, and we were right there. And I tried showing them, like, hey, you guys have overcharged my card about 500 something dollars. You know, can you please explain about what went on? And I was so respectful about doing it. No hate towards nothing, nothing at all, because I wanted to see why they did what they did, to justify it. Because after the money that was coming missing up out of my account, we're in a position where, like I said earlier, like, we can't afford to be going through this at all, because we're stuck in motel rooms right now because of deed fraud of our home, and we have no place to go. And they knew our situation. It was just like they preyed on it. Like, they really took advantage of our situation, knowing that what we're going through right now, really, really hardships, and they took from us the way they did. And I brought it up to their attention. The first thing that came out of their mouths was, it was our card's fault, that we need to get a hold of our card company because they're the ones that are overcharging us, which didn't make any sense at all, because I had my credit card statement right there in front of their face. And I said, please explain it to me, because now you guys are passing the blame off and putting it on my credit card, which they're just there to tell me when my card's being charged. They have nothing to do with it. It's you guys have everything to do with it, because you guys took money out of my account excessively, which you guys had no right in doing. And I said, first of all, please explain to me where you guys got the authority to be charging my card without my say so. Well, your dad signed a paperwork. I said, signed what paperwork? So she gave me a paper, and it clearly says your signature. That's all it says. And I guess that suffices as signature proof that they could charge anybody's card whenever they wanted to. And I was really beside myself when she had showed me the paper, and she refused to give it to me. And then when I'd asked my dad about it, he said that he never signed anything, because he said, that's not my card, that's your card. So I'm not going to sign anything for somebody else to authorize any type of transaction on it. So, I knew that was the truth. And once, like I said, it was all brought to their attention that morning, they refused to give anything on any refunds whatsoever. And they told us just to get our stuff and get out. And, that's what I asked them. I was like, well, I'm bringing this problem up to you guys, and your response is no refund, correct? No refund? You brought this up to us a couple weeks prior to bringing it up to us now, but you tried to scam us once before. So you're trying to scam us even more so. If you said we overcharged you at about 400 something dollars, that's all a lie. So you're just trying to pull a scam on us. We want you out of here right now. We're going to call the cops. And at that point, I really couldn't believe it. I really could not believe it. Neither could my sister, because she was on the phone at the same time. And we didn't really know what to do or say, because we just got screwed out of, 400 something dollars. And, I kind of felt like even more so violated. Like I said, because the position that we're in, we can't afford to be going through that, and that literally broke us, because that's money that I actually could have used to help my parents, get another motel room until we get something figured out with what's going on in our personal life, and for these people just to turn around and, jump on the fact of, hey, look, they're going through deed fraud, no place to go right now. So let's go ahead and, jump on the bandwagon too. And let's go ahead and, screw them out of some more money, and it's not just $100 or $50. It's a matter of some of like about $500, so I could have used that, and it could have helped us get a little bit further on what we have to do. But no, it just set us back like 15 steps, and it's just the feeling of being raped, it's beyond that point, because we wouldn't have figured somebody would have, took advantage of our situation the way they did. You know what I mean? And it's just sad that they did what they did to us, and we couldn't get no type of refund, no nothing at all. And I reached out to corporate, and they told us to send the statements in showing where these overcharges existed. So I sent my half the statement in, and I got a red pen and I marked all the dates that were all overcharges. And I told them it's these specific dates. I just want my money back. That's it. That's all I'm requesting is just please give my money back, make things right. So it took about maybe 2 to 3 weeks before they finally emailed me back, I think the week before. And they ended up giving me Wyndham rewards points, and they gave me enough for a free night and 4 additional nights at a discounted rate. And I guess that was to make up for the money that they actually took from me. And when I got the email stating that, hey, you got a free night on us, I already knew right there and then they came to the decision. And I had called when I'd received that email. I went ahead and called them, and I told them and asked them, what the situation was if they came to any type of agreement. And they had told me that they had, and I had to wait till April 1st to get the conclusion. So April 1st comes about, they didn't call, so I ended up calling April 2nd, and they told me that there was no determination, that they see no overcharges whatsoever, and that I should have gotten the email that they gave me a free night. So I guess I should have been happy on the free night that they gave me over the $400 something that they scammed me out of. And, I got a little frustrated, and I clearly stated, that's not right doing what they did, that they were busted in the act. And I kind of thought that Wyndham as a corporation, would have made it right. How could you have not see it plain as day with the overcharges? And what had happened was Microtel here in Independence turned around, and I don't know how they did it, but they ended up pulling some magic, and they went through and altered my credit card statement. And all the charges that were there previously, they're not there now. So I'm not dumb. Like, I know how the way things work. They really went through and they made them charges disappear. So that way I couldn't have called my credit card company to dispute the charge to get my money back. I know exactly that's what they did. They went through, like I said, they went through and they wiped it all clean. So I wasn't going to get my money back, not by my credit card company, not by Wyndham as a corporation, and sure, not for Microtel. And once I started seeing what they'd done, I brought that up to corporate, that here's what they done. They owed me this money, and the first batch of emails I sent you was clearly showing the overcharges that they did on my card. And then when I went through and I checked my credit card statement again, that's when I seen everything switched around. They went and some of the overcharges that they had charged me, they went and put it in its place on the charges that they made disappear, if that makes any sense. And they mimicked it, and they got rid of all the overcharges, and now it makes sense to their portfolio, their folios that they have. And then when I was talking to Wyndham corporate, they had sent in their copy of folios, and even one of the executives had came out and mentioned that the folio that they turned in was not matching what we have turned in. There was two different numbers, and he said that there was about maybe 500 something like unaccounted dollars that did make sense. And then time passes by, and when I had called that April 2nd, now all of a sudden everything matched out well. Everything was accounted for, and I still had the proof on my end where I go to my notifications on every time my card was swiped. That was my proof right there that it caught them all in the act. And now my credit card statement is totally different. I don't know how they did it. Like, I'm still wondering how they did it. Like, all these charges that were there were actually processed. They weren't pending. They weren't nothing like that. They just magically disappeared. And what they did was now everything makes sense. Their folio matches up with my credit card statement, so therefore it shows no overcharges now. And pretty much, like I said, now I'm really screwed out of the money. And once again, I don't really know what to do at this point now. Like I said, it put us more of even in a bind than what we were before, because before we were doing okay, trying to get things, figured out with my parents, and especially going through this whole, deed fraud, getting kicked out of our home, because we don't have nothing. all of our stuff was ransacked by the person who committed the act. All of our personal belongings, everything was left behind. We only had like a bag of clothes to get out of the house with. And we're trying to get things figured out with that, but we're not having too much of luck. And then with Microtel doing the acts that they did and then busted in the process and thinking corporate was going to help out and see the same thing that they did, corporate didn't do nothing. They just let them skate on by and $500. Like, where did that all go? And then the answer has to be it went in their pocket. I mean, that's where else it could have went, was in their pocket, because corporate doesn't want to do nothing. And I reached out to corporate once again, and now they're not even emailing me back or doing anything. And because they told us if we weren't satisfied with the answer that they gave us, that we can go ahead and email them back once again, and they'll open the case back up. So myself, my sister emailed them multiple times once again, and now they're just giving us the cold shoulder. Now they're not wanting to do anything with the case. They just let it go. And like I said, and still to this day, I don't know why anybody would do something like that. It's like, because I don't know if you received my email stating, the paperwork that I'd sent you through an email, this notebook paper, because on the notebook paper I went through, and you see that notebook paper I went through and I did all the math, and it was the same piece of paper that I had sent to corporate, showing exactly what went on, what date, what charges that I was actually charged for, and they don't email me back. They don't do nothing. They, like I said, they just gave me the cold shoulder, and I guess that's the story of Microtel and their scam they got away with. And and I don't think it's right that these people still have a job at all because of what they did, and they got away with it. Like the employees, or the people that run the place. It's the father, the son, and his girlfriend that are running the place. And I don't see how corporate didn't see it. Which I'm sure they probably did see it, but they just went and covered it up. And that's why I can't really let it go. It's hard to let go of that. I get scammed at 400 something bucks. Especially the situation that we're in. It sucks. It really does. And then I went through every single source of like any outlet that I could to get that out there. Like it's bad enough going what we're going through, and then get screwed out of this type of money. And then I went to PissedConsumer, and I seen you guys have are out there to help people on stuff exactly like this to get help. And that's why I went to you guys and made the comment that I did. And then a couple days later, hey, here I am, making a video that hopefully something can come about and like something can happen. It's just not right. It sucks, and it even sucks even more so that this business is still operating with, these people doing what they're doing. God knows, since they've done it to us, God knows how many people they've done this to before, and, still doing this to, you know what I mean? And it's just unfortunate. And hopefully, with this video, hopefully something can come about. Something can, help us in any shape, way, or form, like anything. Like, like I've always heard, maybe a lawyer could potentially help you. Well, a lot of people don't know the situation that I'm in right now, and especially us as a whole. Like, we can't afford a lawyer to go through this stuff right now. And just like, I don't know what it is with 2021 with people trying to get over on us, especially when you come at them with, proof. I thought people have always told you, get the proof, pictures or anything wrote down or any paper, anything in that aspect is good enough proof. Well, apparently in 2021, it's not. That paper, anything you have against them is not good enough proof nowadays. It's not, because like I don't get the meaning. Like, if you could somehow give me an answer, like somehow like grasp my mind around, exactly like what had happened, like why it happens. Like, I read about stuff like this all the time, and I've seen it on TV, and then lo and behold, it ends up we fall to it. It happens to us, and it sucks, and I don't get it. I really don't. And that's all I've wanted, was just for them to make it right. Wyndham to fix the wrong that they did, and they did none of it whatsoever. They just made it worse, and they put us even more in a bind. Like, we just go day by day. We don't do nothing to nobody, and then for them to just turn around and like, hey, okay, let's just one of our our sister hotels do this and take advantage of these people, and you come at them with the proof that, hey, here's the overcharges, you need to refund this money back. Instead, what do they do to try to fix the right is they give us a free day. Even though we stood there over a month and spent the money that we spent with them, we get a free day. You know what I mean? I'm still beside myself about the whole situation. I really am. It doesn't make sense. And, hopefully something can come of this video, like of some type of help or something, because my hands are tied at this moment. Like, I don't know what really else that I can do, because according to Wyndham as a corporation, I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing. I really literally I have to sit by and just let it go.